Let me put him on. You are inside the Timbuktu, the city of Timbuktu in the Kabandwa Collective. And Ka means spirit from the ancient times. So we want to say Akwaba from the Tree language of Ghana. Welcome. I want you to tell the listeners, you call yourself a carrier blacksmith.
Mm-hmm.
I won't even tell them your name because I'm going to interview you through your biography. So please tell them how you come to the name Carrier Blacksmith.
Okay, so what I do is I mold and sculpt people's minds to be successful. Why? So they can edge over the competition. Many people are sending their resumes out consistently, or even just in life, they're just like bitter, angry, feeling depressed, and they just can't get ahead. But it's the mind that's got to be sculpted to be successful, and that's exactly what I do.
When you were born, your mother gave you a name. Your father gave you a name named McClean. You had to remind me it's 2 C's.
2 C's.
So tell us how you come to those names. Who gave you the names?
Interesting. It's not really a slave name at all. I got to take you back to the 14th century where the King of Scotland wanted to rule, and he had some supporters. So in Scotland, the ones were causing trouble, and a monarch in Britain wanted them out, so they kicked them out, and there was like 4 brothers. And they sent them one to Barbados, which was my lineage, Jamaica, I believe New Zealand, and Australia.
Yes.
And what happened was they were like indentured slaves, so they had to do their time. So they were actually white slaves working in the land. They got land eventually. One set married a white woman, one set married a black woman. I'm the black version out there. So when they say that McClean's my slave name, I say, no, it's not. I really do. My name is really common McClean. And I did some research, and my family motto is virtue, my honor. And that's what I've been living since I was a child. I didn't know that until I did that research.
Okay, good. So, because I never seen a McClean named Clean.
Yes.
But it's good. And you've sussed your history. The only thing is, when you come back in here again, I'm going to find your ancient name. Because we're older than Scotland.
Oh, yeah, I'm older.
Just so you know.
Oh, I know that.
So, yes. But I wanted to know how you got the name. Colin. What does Colin mean?
Colin means young one, and that's been the bane of my existence until now. Because when I was younger, I couldn't get dates because why? I looked too young. Now I'm in my prime of my life, and I'm feeling great, and it's great looking young and actually feeling young.
So I'm going to take you on your biographical sketch, like a journey. Where were you born?
I was born on a small island in Canada, and it's called Montreal.
The ones who wants to separate.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Well, let's hope that doesn't happen soon. Let's hope Mississauga doesn't separate. Make sure Montreal doesn't separate.
Yeah.
We're in too much separation when we're talking about unity, so we're glad you're still part of Canada.
Always.
You're living here. How was your childhood in terms of living in Montreal?
Ironically, I got to take it back now to the 60s, whereby the FLQ was uprising. So my parents left when I was 1. So really, Toronto was my hometown as a child. Then I moved to Peel, which is Brampton, to live. So I'm a Torontonian GTA.
So we adopted you from 1.
Exactly.
All right. So you're growing up in Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
How was your childhood in terms of going to school? Did you feel welcome?
Interesting. I was one of few black students, and I got to take you back. If you could see my mother's eyes back in 1978 when she came home, she was crying.
Yeah.
And the reason why she was crying was the teacher said that I should be kept back a year. I'm learning disabilities. I'm not really savvy in school. But that encouraged me to live the motto of grow, overcome, and achieve. And by doing that, I was able to get my marks from F's to eventually to A's.
So you finished high school.
Yeah.
Where did you go after high school?
I went to Centennial College, and I did international business because the Berlin Wall came down. And many of us out there don't know what you want to do, and because no one teaches us. And I like to teach people to network and really know what's going on out there before you just jump into something. So I went into international business, and then I started doing import-exports. And then I didn't become the career blacksmith until I had like a near-death accident. And then I lost my job, and then other stuff happened.
So you jump ahead. I was gonna about to get you to the career of blacksmith, but you jumped.
All right.
And because you jump, I'm gonna just jump in just as well.
Okay.
So, because working for people is way different than working for yourself.
It
So
is.
first of all, are you working for yourself right now?
Yes, I am.
What prompted you? Because it's a serious mindset. I just want the listeners to
Yes.
know. Most of us keep a full-time job because we get a paycheck.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you're doing a tightrope and there's a net underneath it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got some skilled dudes who say, I don't want the net. So you took the net from underneath.
Yep.
You're now working for yourself. How was that transition?
It was hard at first, but what led me to transition was I was with a recruitment firm, and then we got bought out by an American firm, and we ended up moving the office from Vaughan to like almost Ajax. I live in Brampton, so it's hard for me to travel that far. And I started working on growing myself because I knew I eventually wanted to do this.
Yeah.
So I had my website of KeepMovingForward.ca. I was building that. I was starting to do more one-on-one coaching. So it wasn't like a straight cut. I was actually prepared to leave the nest when it happened.
So somebody said to me, a very wise man said a couple of days ago that even the greatest players need a coach. Did you acquire any coaching as you were leaving, changing your mindset, or did you just do it all on your own?
Oh, I had a coach. My coach is from DFC.
Yeah.
His name is Amar. Now, this DFC Amar, he's fantastic. So he
Yes.
fixed my body because I was well in my 40s and my back was going out. You know, you're getting old, right? And
Yes.
stuff. He fixed my mindset in terms of business because I was scared. I got to admit to you, because working for a lot of non-for-profits, the funding gets cut and then I'm unemployed. So I went into the private thinking I'm fine, but then sure enough, more cuts happen. Not your own fault. It's just, it is what it is.
Yes.
And you've got to start thinking of legacy, of growing, overcoming, and succeeding.
So I've been working in the African liberation business for over 25 years in terms of trying to see if our people can overcome themselves in terms of the mental. Because I've always said to people, while racism and capitalism and imperialism and all the ism exists, your mind
Yeah.
has to be a certain way to accept and keep it, because if it's not destroyed, we're going to always be from a victim perspective.
Exactly. What's the difference between a victim and a victor?
Yeah.
The only difference is the mindset, because both had horrible things happen to them, but it's how you choose to rise up from it. So I've had clients whereby they thought they were failures, they were no good, but by working their mindset, they were able to find employment, and I changed the story. Now, the story is a narrative of who we act out. So if you think you're like a loser, you think you're not good, and you're a deadbeat father, what's going to happen? You're not going to get the promotion. You're not going to have the great wife. Even for women, if you don't think you're good enough to have like a really decent man in your life, you're going to start attracting like the losers. So I tell to people, have the mindset of wings, not anchors, because wings will lift you up versus anchors will pull you back down. You want to lift up and get up.
Who are some of the people? Because, you know, you're here speaking with me, and I remember years ago when I saw some books in Albion Mall, and I bought the books and I ended up selling books.
Yeah.
So it's strange because I'm from a place called Jamaica or Jamaica or Jamaica. And from I was about 8, 9, I was selling Sky Juice and bun and cheese on the street
Yeah,
side
your hustle.
with Ken.
Yeah.
Ken, I don't know Ken alive anymore, but I was hustling from I was 12, right? So when I come here, I just saw some books in a mall. I bought them for $2. I sold them for $5.
Beautiful.
And it's because some of us prefer to do the things. But then again, I work in communities where it's hard. How do you go into change mindset? Because it's not easy. It's not about one individual.
No.
It's a generation of people. It's upon generation. So what are some of the stuff you would employ?
Oh, okay.
To try to move people.
So I create a thing. It's a program called I Am, and maybe say I am tired, I am bored, whatever. Your true I Am statement, like in the Bible.
Yes.
When you say your I Am, the next word to that dictates how you actually ripple out in life. So if you think I am no good or I am defeated, guess what? You're defeated. So I work with people, find out their habits, their belief systems, their values, their thoughts, their emotions. By working on all that, you create a true story of who you are, because stories can change and people can change. So I tell people you got to first love yourself to give of yourself. You don't love yourself, you don't like the person in the mirror looking back at you, you're going to put that hatred onto other people. I've seen it, I've experienced it,
Yes.
kind of a thing. So we got to start loving ourselves first.
Now, when do we start this? Because, I'm in the school. I do stuff in the school. I work
Yeah.
with young people every
Doing
day.
great work.
So we see 4-year-old, 5-year-old. When do you start to teach this thing? Because we know there's some formative years
Yeah.
that minds get shaped. When is your natural work? Because some of us is afraid of JKs.
Oh yeah. You know what? For me, I have 2 children, and as soon as they came out of the womb into this world, I was working on them. They didn't quite know it, understand it, but children are like sponges. They soak it up. So if you are a person and you're not acting up to your highest standards because
Yes.
you defeated whatever, kids are gonna pick on that and they think that's normal. That's not normal.
So you start young. Do you do any work? Are you planning to do any work in high school?
Yep, I worked with youth up to like grade 8 and up. I've worked for adults. I've grown people who are like 60 years old. I worked with them. My target client is you got to be willing and hungry enough for the change and into self-development. If you're going to say, that's not really me and I'm okay, you're not okay, because clearly if you were okay, your life would be much better.
Now, somebody keeps saying you have to be coachable. What does
Yeah.
that mean? Tell the listeners, when you say coachable, what does that mean?
Oh, gosh, that is so important. You got to be able to fail forward. Now, for me, when I was going into my own business, I was a little bit scared, and I knew that my own mentor, my coach, he knew what he was talking about. So I went with the mindset that I'm just going to open myself up like a jar and be open to receive information. I may not do it right the first time. Drop the ego, because ego is what kills us all. You got to have the mindset of a continent versus an island. Continents have more resources, islands have limited resources. And I've done self-development work whereby they have you locked in a room for like 3 days straight, and they're grilling you as to why you are a failure in life. And if you're not coachable, you're not going to change. Go through the pain to get the gain.
This is my most controversial question. Person I know says job means just over broke. So I know you said you're getting ready for careers and employment, but as I look around, I see them disappearing. Like we have a new premier, a new premier. And I'm saying that. So the new premier comes in and he's like a machete man. He's chopping, right? But he's like, I'm not chopping. No, everybody's like, he's chopping. He's like, he's not chopping. So I know people in my field around me.
Yeah.
Some of them have gone back to the classroom.
Yeah.
There's no more work. Do you also talk to people about entrepreneurship?
Yes, I do talk to people entrepreneurship, and the first thing of any kind of skill set you have, master and dominate sales.
Yes.
Everyone thinks sales is this dirty thing, but remember, if you don't think you have value and you don't have a valuable product, no one's going to buy it from you.
But isn't everything a sales?
Yeah.
So even the people who say they're not good salespeople, but they sell every day.
Yeah.
So you have to master sales. What about in ancient Africa? I always go back home. People will go to China often.
Yeah.
People will go to China for martial arts. I always go to Africa first because that's where everything started. And I won't read it, but I would paraphrase it. There's a ancient thing on the Kemetic wall. It says, "Know thyself and be true."
Yeah.
In your field, it's called mastery of self. How important is that to people as they open themselves up? Mastery of themselves.
Oh, that's really important, because you're going to be dealing with, like, I'm 50 now, believe it or not, and I find that I have had coding instilled in me through my parents, teachers, and stuff in life. Some are good, some are bad, and it's like a default system, and that default system is like a huge couch in a pit. And the pit's warm, it's nice, but you're not going to get out of the pit. So if you want to really master yourself, you're going to have to learn how to climb and crawl and get out of the pit for a better life, because our self-sabotage will kick back in when we get kind of scared, and it's to protect us, but really it's protecting us from success.
And this next question is the $1 million question now. Because I'm older than old. So how important is culture? Like, and I'm talking about how important it is young people to know themselves.
Oh,
Because
that's cute.
I've traveled and I've seen people who don't know themselves.
Mhm.
How important it is for culture, and when do you start teaching culture to children?
Interesting. Culture, I think, once again, for me, I taught it to my kids. So I've learned how to be a man
Yes.
through my father. My father was always present, he was always here. Not everyone has that. But I learned to pretty much respect myself and carry myself in public because I'm always being watched. Person of
Yes.
color, you're always being watched. And if you think you can operate at a low level, you're mistaking yourself. So know your culture, know like your history, know your language, kind of a thing, because culture is what keeps us together, and you can actually use your own culture to propel you forward. I tell people, if you can't maybe find employment in other cultures, stick with your own. It's possible because why you have the connection of culture, language, experiences, and that will give you the edge. Other cultures do it. Why don't we don't do it too?
There's a man I met the other day from another culture, and I went to a seminar. And you always notice none of your free seminars are free. Like, how is that you guys are so smart? He's like, we got to do a 2-hour free seminar, but before the seminar is done,
You buy it in.
the sales pitch start happening about 20
Yeah.
minutes into the seminar. So it's called upsale. The person said, you need a book.
Mm.
Why did you write that?
I wrote a book. Actually, this book is for you. It's
Yes.
called A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to My Career, 50
Yes.
Simple Rules to Get the Job You Want. And that was my pain whereby I lost my job. I came back from parental leave, got bought out by an American firm. I know Americans are just killing me. I don't know. It's terrible. Not once, but twice lost my job because of American buyout. So I lose my job and I go back and I'm thinking, what I'm going to do? I'm lost. And I had this job for about 15 years doing import-exports, and I have a bridge mortgage. So I have to sell my house because I have a daughter, and the house is getting real small. For those who have children, your house gets really small really fast like that. Had that, my in-laws, and I had my my wife and I, and we bought a regular place. 12 hours later, I lose the house. Sorry, not lose the house, I lose the job. And then I buy another house, and it's just crazy. So I'm carrying 2 mortgages.
Wow.
So that was me going through depression whereby I'm trying everything. I'm sending resumes out, nothing's working. I'm like trying to network, I'm doing a horrible job. I've got people calling me, hey, you finding work yet? Finding work yet? My mother's calling me, finding work yet? My father's calling me, and uncle.
Just getting you in the rut deeper. Right?
And to make matters worse, I have other people, like friends, they're getting like promotions like this. Like they're
Yeah.
going from like manager, director, VP. One guy, he's in real estate, nicest guy on the planet, and then his business is booming. He ends up getting a job in Jamaica for another real estate, and then he
Yes.
buys a store. And I'm the only schmuck on the planet who's not successful.
And you're feeling bad about
Yeah.
yourself.
So then what I had to do was I had to actually find out, sit down, work myself, develop myself by growing, overcoming, achieving. And I found out the secret to how to find employment. Once I did that, boom, I found employment, and I was rocking then since.
And yet, do you know that most people who become billionaire and millionaire quit school?
Yep.
Now, tell me, I want to know the science of that, because I went to school too long.
No, you never go to school too long. That's the first I'm going to correct you on that, okay? I'm a lifelong learner.
Yes.
And yes, it's billionaires, but remember, they had great habits. So you can say, oh, great, I can quit school, but
Yeah.
are you getting up early? I get up at 5:30 in the morning. Are you getting up early? Are you networking? Are you reading stuff? Are you developing yourself consistently? Because you're not growing, overcoming, achieving, you're not going to be successful. And I see so many students dropping out of school, and it breaks my heart because they can take stuff away from you. They take your car, your house, whatever, but they can't take away your education.
So let's get this right. Let's get this in context. So you don't have to go to school, but you better find your passion.
And work that passion and sell that passion.
Because the truth is, I learned more after
Yeah.
I spend the 30, 40 grand.
Hmm.
I learned more now
Yeah,
than before.
yeah.
Because what they were doing was schooling me.
Hmm. One way.
Yes, and the trick was they're not teaching you how to expand and bend your mind, because critical thinking
Hmm.
is the order of the day, and the system doesn't, because it wants you to follow
It's a
one
schedule.
direction.
Yeah.
So we're good. So you got this book. This is the only book.
No,
You
I
got-
have another one.
You have another one.
Yeah, another one I have, and it's called We Were the Nice Strange Man, and that was birthed from my daughter being born. And for those who have children out there, you want to keep them safe, and this book was to teach kids how to be safe online. This one here, the illustrations as well as the writing for a funny thing happened in my career, that's all myself.
So but it's a cartouche.
I've used humor to
Yes.
teach people, because many of those books out there for self-development and for finding work, they're not really interesting. You're already depressed, so
Yes.
throw some humor in. And it's straight to the point, it's effective, and people have used this book to find employment. Like
And
that.
I guess you also develop your own moniker. You know, like I see challenge, action, results.
Yeah.
That's something that you have developed in your work.
That's part of it. I've worked with non-for-profits, so they say that as well. But it's a universal language. For me, I'm about habits, belief systems, emotions, really diving down. And I have another book I'm currently writing right now, and it's about how to grow, overcome, and achieve and live the life that you impact. I just started writing it. So hopefully I have that done in probably the next 6 months or so.
If you could impact a lot of these communities, as I said, that I go to, I work with the TDSB, and what happened is I'm into areas where they're called priority neighborhoods.
Yeah, it's rough.
And I don't know priority for what, but their priority, they call the young people youth at risk. At risk for what? Because you have to ask questions. All I do is ask questions.
Yeah, that's how you learn.
I'm going to come up with a book of questions.
Yep.
And if somebody tries to answer my questions, I'm going to sue them, because it's only supposed to be questions. So my question for you, your children, what are your plans? Is your plan for them to go work or go own a business, become entrepreneurs? What do you want for them?
Bit of both. So I tell people, it's hard to be an entrepreneur, but work for someone at first, get the skill set. So for me, being the import-exports, I learned how to handle meetings, do logistics. I've been taken to the rooms where there's no people of color, there's no women, it's a secret boys kind of club, and I learned how to conduct myself so I can navigate myself in any environment. So first do that, get that skill set, and then develop your skill set, and then leave. So for my children, my daughter's she's going into university, and she applied the 3, got in to all 3, and she's going to do music therapy, cognition, healing of people through music, and the science behind it. My son, he's more of an illustrator, and he's more of a person like me, so I'm just waiting and seeing what he's into. But I know that drawing is his passion, but I'm telling him he's got to learn how to sell his stuff.
Okay, I'm
market
going to
himself.
challenge you, because you're a businessman. You have a suit on, and I have mine.
This is my branding.
I know, you're Brandon, and I was telling somebody the other day, and I was wrong. I know I've been wrong. I said I'm scared. I'm trying to come up with a word that describes Brandon for the next century.
Wow.
I'm uncomfortable, use the word. I will repeat it because you did, but the last time when we walked on the shores, they brand us with metals.
Yeah.
And we as Africans, somehow, it seems that we're still branded, because we're still enslaved even today when we think we're not. And we're still branded, and yet it's like, it's still here, like the brand is right here.
Yeah.
And so I'm looking for some new language to say what we're trying to say now, and leave that word alone. So I'm going to talk to you about money. This is your test. If you're not bright, it's going to show now. So you got to be on your spot. So money, save or invest. So you got to explain that. I'm just throwing it at you, and you tell us. Save or invest. Which one you do? Which one
both.
to do? No. You do one, and then explain why.
All right, okay. So you want to invest, and you want to invest in your company as well as invest in yourself. Because when you are investing in yourself financially, you'll be more successful. So for me, if I didn't invest on doing those self-development courses, if I didn't invest in actually having money on the side in the bank, whereby when I lost the jobs, I wasn't nervous as much as someone who had no money at all. So by investing, it's growing.
Make money or make money work for you?
Well, make money work for you, because you have to, because money is just a tool.
Well, tell me how to do it. How are you going to do it? Because money is like there, it's just a piece of paper.
Yeah. Okay, well, what you have to do is you've got to have a great product or service and really believe in it. And you're going to have to get out there and sell that to people. Now, it's going to be scary. You'll have a lot of closed doors, but not everyone is going to be successful, but you got to keep at it. You got to think that I've got almost like a cure for cancer or whatever, and I'm going to help you.
Is the bank prison for poor people's money? Yes or no?
Oh, that's a good question.
Mm.
Okay,
I
that's
only
pretty
asked
deep.
good
It can
question.
be. Yeah,
Is it or not? Yes or no? You can't get. This is not political. You got to say yes
It's
or
always
no.
political. Okay, I would say yes.
Why?
Why? Because a lot of times I find it's locked up, and you aren't able to get the return investment as quickly. So your interest rates are very low of how much you're earning
Actually,
on it.
it's not an interest. It's a de-stress.
Yes.
Because if they give you 1%
Yeah, it doesn't go far.
and inflation is 2, it's -1.
It's more than 2.
Yeah, here you go. And so what the bank does is take your money and then
Yeah.
lend it out at 10% or 9%. And as a matter of fact, somebody said, and this is another powerful thing. Do what the bank do.
Yeah.
Most people don't know how the bank make its money. You have to be a banker.
Service charges and
Yeah,
stuff.
no, we have to be the banker.
Yeah.
So rather than put your money in the bank, watch what the banks do.
Mhm.
So bank lend out their money at 8-9%. That's what you want to do.
Yeah.
Be a banker.
Hmm.
So one more question, because you know your investment thing. I trust RRSP,
Hmm.
good or bad?
Oh God, man.
This
that's
one
not
you
my
could be
thing.
political.
Yeah.
This one you could be political and then
Yeah.
explain.
God, I would say they're
It
good.
depends. It depends.
Yeah, I think they're good, but you can do more with yourself. But
I
don't
was
wanna
setting
say,
you up. I was like, it depends. You're supposed to follow me. It depends.
Yeah, like
It depends, because if you make low income, should you even think about RRSP if your income is low?
I know you can get the tax write-offs.
No, but if your income is low, you don't get a tax because it's already low.
Yeah.
So if it's low, then what's the next thing? You know, the new one, you don't have to pay taxes. What's that one called again?
That tax-free account.
Yes, because that's the one when you don't make a lot of, that's the one you should use.
Mhm.
If you make lots of income, RSP can help you to pay less tax, and then you should invest that money that you get.
I've seen that for a lot of people where they're going to they lost their jobs and they've been doing like a low-paying job for the
Yes.
past 30 years and they have no savings,
Wow.
no investments.
Mm.
And then they come to me and it's hard because when I was in the non-for-profit, it's like I'd have to think, I can't get you employed yet because I got to work on your mindset because it's so low
Yeah.
in terms of investing in yourself that I can't even put you in front of an employer because you're just going to, mess it up because you're not there yet.
You bought 2 properties at one time. You were calling 2 mortgage. Mortgage means debt. Mortuary.
Yeah.
Mortgage.
Yeah, till death.
By the
That's right.
time you pay it off, you're dead anyways. But you had 2.
Well,
Do
not
you-
by choice.
I know, but do you encourage your clients to own home real estate?
Yeah, that I can't really answer.
Yeah.
It's that some people say that it's in terms of investment, you can't make much money off of it, and the amount of money you're spending fixing it up. So I'm not really the expert on that. But for me, I like having a home because I'm able to raise my family.
Yes.
I can control my environment a little bit better than if I was more in an apartment per se, or even a condo.
Yeah. The big guy says it appreciates.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of money. You have to pay a lot of bills.
Yeah.
But at least after 20 years, you probably would own equity in it.
Yeah, I have equity in my house now, so.
All right. So you got the book. You got another book coming. If you had to inspire the listeners, whoever is listening, because we're global, sometimes there's a little place in Jamaica where I was born named Lagwood.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes the people click their phone
Okay.
and they're listening to us right now.
Beautiful.
So what would be your final few words to inspire the masses?
Okay, if you want to succeed in life, 3 principles that I believe in is grow, overcome, and achieve. If you want to connect with me, it's Colin, 1L in Colin, at KeepMovingForward.ca. As I always say, keep moving forward and looking upwards.
And I want to thank you for coming in. These spaces are sacred This
Yeah,
is
it
where we educate ourselves so we could teach, and we learn so we can educate ourselves, because in our knowledge-based system of in Kemet and Asian places, learning is continuous. Ignorance would be a crime.
It is. I believe it's a crime, ignorance.
So thank you, and
Thank you.
your family for allowing you to come all the way down in the Park of the Regents.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Pleasure.
So yes, we want to say thank you. We're gonna play a musical violin.